Hi, I'm Robert Hayes, and I have under 2 minutes to tell you how frisbees work. Okay, so a frisbee is an airfoil. An airfoil is a special geometry which, when it moves through a fluid, allows for a high velocity, low pressure zone above the geometry and a low velocity, high pressure zone below. This creates a difference in pressure which results in a force, and that force is what we call lift. Lift combats gravity, which is, weight, mg. When lift is greater than weight, you end up getting the object, moving up instead of down. So generally when I make a force with a pressure, I relate them by force equals pressure times area. Here my pressure is given by 1/2 rho v squared, the dynamic pressure. It's essentially the faster I go, the higher my pressure difference here is, and so the faster it goes up. The area is the planform area, which is essentially given by the diameter of my frisbee. And I have this coefficient of lift, which is pretty small for frisbees, much higher for wings. It actually varies based on this thing called angle of attack. So if I'm going horizontally, I get a little bit. If I'm going like this, I get a positive angle of attack, and I get a much larger coefficient of lift, which makes sense intuitively. If I go like this, I get negative angle of attack, negative coefficient of lift. It goes down. Okay, excellent. So the only problem is if I threw this like a regular wing, like I was throwing a paper airplane, I would have this problem where my distribution of pressure was not quite symmetric. So my center of mass is in the middle, but my center of pressure is not quite in the middle, and thus I end up generating a torque. And my torque makes the frisbee flip over, which I don't want. To avoid this, I essentially induce this angular momentum by spinning the frisbee about its axis of rotation or symmetry, and so that makes my frisbee have this angular momentum which needs to change when torque is applied. And if my moment of inertia is high, which it is for a frisbee because of its geometry, and my omega, my rate of spin, is high, which it should be when I throw it really well, essentially my dl/dt is going to be really small. It's going to be really hard for this to change over time. So it won't flip over. It'll just kind of bank a little bit over time, which is fine. And I'm done.